Going on there, folks? Good afternoon, well, good evening, technically, out here along the West Coast. California time is 10 p.m. here on the 6th of August, Sunday night. Got Monday coming around again tomorrow. Latest earthquake activity, let's go ahead and check it out here on the globe. Looks like some movement down into the Chile area with a 3.1 there in the green flag. Or red flag. Also some activity stirring up here off the coast of Japan. I did see the seismograph station here picking up some type of seismic signature. Nothing big. I believe it was one of these quakes up here, potentially. Although this just took place here a couple minutes ago. All right, what else we got going on here? Chiming into the California area. Notice this little line of activity stretching on the Pacific side of the plate boundary in obviously a linear fashion. Following, I believe this is going to be the San Jacinto fault zone for the most part. Keeping an eye on this area. May stir up some swarming down here in Southern California. It looks slightly elevated around the regions of Ridgecrest up here along that plate or the fault system here. And again, this fault system, the San Jacinto fault zone, which is a pretty lengthy one, kind of runs into these other faults up here throughout Los Angeles as well. But just noticing a slight uptick here across Southern California inland, as well as the plate boundary across the San Andreas Fault. So just keep an eye on things out here. Far as the live seismograph stations go, let me double check. Barrett is down in Southern California. Looks pretty calm for now. There's not a whole lot of activity showing up. But again, notice some smaller earthquake activity ramping up down there. Northern California, can't say there's too much activity going on here. We did have a 2.5 earlier this morning, about 18 kilometers deep, just south here of the Cascadia megathrust area. Not a big one, but still some activity there in the region. Let's go ahead and check out the... Stand by for a second here. I want to check out the tremor map here tonight. Let's see what we got going on for Cascadia tremor. And then we'll get to space weather here in a little bit. It's been pretty active. 203 epicenters of tremor out here, Washington, and a little bit there in Northern California as well. Not a big event, but still somewhat elevated there across the Cascadia as far as tremor goes. A little spotty movement up through Washington. Yellowstone National Park, not a whole lot showing up here. I was watching the radar map earlier today, seeing some thunderstorms brewing up there around the area of Yellowstone for a couple hours, and that's pretty much what we're seeing right here. Similar to what we seen last night, taking place there for a couple hours. The wind, the rain, potentially hail, thunder does add a seismic signature to what we're seeing on that couple different graphs there at Yellowstone. But since the storms have died down, things have calmed back down there as far as the readings go. So there's not a whole lot of earthquake activity occurring there at Yellowstone currently. No major swarms, no unusual activity. Okay, that was kind of weird. Let's go back over here to the USGS map. Latest activity across the eastern portion of the country shows a whole lot of nothing. Nothing really major going on at all as far as any type of earthquake activity. There's an earthquake just off the coast here of Costa Rica and the Nicaragua area. That's a 4.8. Coming in just within the last hour, 10 kilometers deep. So what about our swarm out there in the Gulf of Fonseca? Anything picking up out there? Doesn't look like it. Looks like things have returned back to normal. Still seeing some movement, though, up and down the entire Middle America Trench out here with quite a few threes and some fours in there as well. Into the Alaska region. Let's go ahead and hit up north here. Did have some activity earlier this afternoon near the McCarthy, Alaska area, 4.8. Now notice on the globe here, I don't know why USGS is messing up all of a sudden. Kind of weird. On the globe, they show a 5.3. Now that's the EMSC model picking up that 5.3. USGS holding steady at a 4-pointer, 4.8 to be exact. Here, looks like it's definitely outside of the Alaska region into the Yukon territories. Now, Let's see here. We did have a little bit of aftershock activity following that movement, it looks like. 2.7 there in the southern Yukon Territory of Canada. Slight uptick across the Aleutian Trench here as well. But it's limited to the Gulf of Alaska region, so just kind of watching that for some movement. One little earthquake out here across the Aleutian Trench. That earthquake coming in 30 kilometers deep for a 4.5. Some of the activity here across the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench from earlier this afternoon, 4.6, 162 kilometers deep. Now there is a, looks like a 5.4 in here as well. That earthquake was from earlier this afternoon, but I believe that these are two of the same. We got one reading from the EMSC reporting a 5.4, the other a 4.6. You know, that is such a wide amount of magnitude there for one agency to report and then the other agency to lower it. It's just so it's crazy. It makes the earthquake 3D look a little bit more active than what it is. But there's definitely some issues there with the USGS and the EMSC in agreement, or lack of agreement, I should say. Let's see, down here off the coast of Japan, a couple fours coming in here, including a 5.5 from earlier this afternoon. Relatively shallow. Latest one, though, 4.9. Also got some activity there from this morning in the Mariana Trench area. 4.4 at 164 kilometers deep. So we're noticing a little trend of activity stirring up across the Filipino plate. Clustering going on once again here into the Philippines southward. Quite a few 4s and 3s coming into this area. It's always, it's almost always like that. It seems like it only wants to go quiet for a couple days and then things really get stirred up. But as you can see, even the USGS map here is showing quite a few 4s within that area. Not a whole lot going on through the Sumatra area or up around China for now. Remember, this has been somewhat active within the past week, so these areas are taking a little break, it looks like. Some movement across eastern Afghanistan up here. Once again, noticing a little swarm of activity stirring up out here. Latest one, a 4.1, almost 200 kilometers deep. So we're noticing a trend of deeper earthquakes out here across the region. Continue to watch that maybe for some further movement. A little bit of activity across Turkey and the Mediterranean, although no big activity going on, just a couple small 3s and 2s. And what looks like maybe a 5-pointer out there around Turkey. Some activity here north of the Iceland area. I think that's an older quake from this morning, 4.5. Also a little bit of activity here across the Azores in the Atlantic, and still got some movement down into the South Sandwich Trench there with quite a few 5s stirring up on the northern edge here of the subduction zone. Latest one at 5.4, late afternoon time period, my time, 10 kilometers deep. Things starting to fill in down there and probably continue for a little while. South America region here, quite a few 2s and 3s out there. Let's see what else we got. New Zealand, looks like they may have had a 4-pointer down here off the southern tip. USGS not reporting that. Let's go over here to the GeoNet servers here, see what we have for the latest activity down in New Zealand. Stand by here for just a second. See if it's going to work. Is GeoNet working? Yes, it is. All right. 9 hours ago, there's that 4.4. They're showing a 4.4 as far as the GeoNet servers go. This earthquake looks like it was felt by a couple people out there. It did take place just off the coast there of the South Island. Far as the most recent earthquake activity here, looks like some small quakes being reported. Unnoticeable, but for the most part, all those look very small microquakes. Look at the earthquake drums here. Should be clear. Not for sure what's going on here. Notice a little delay in the activity. Not for sure what's up with that. What is that? There's that 4.4 down here, South Island, New Zealand, that did show up across the area. Looks like some type of technical glitch or interference here on the station right here. But as you can see, not a whole lot of earthquake activity following that movement from about 9 hours or so ago. Looking up here towards the subduction zone, the Tonga Trench, latest one of 4.3, 556 kilometers deep. So these areas that may not be showing further movement right now, or at least in the last 24 hours, should show some elevated activity here soon. Kind of get some deeper movement building back here, all that pressure and momentum coming across the plate boundary. We'll watch that fill in. What do we got there? Australia. Stand by here for a second. Looks like a 3.0 coming in there. I'm just going to check from the Australian Government Geoscience Australia. There's that earthquake there in the red circle. Now that's a 3.0 coming in. UTC time of 0420 on the 8th. So oh no, I take that back. On the 7th. This is backwards. I'm used to reading that. It's not July, right? So this is going to be August 7th, which was just literally a short time ago. Looks like an hour or so ago. Local time, UTC time right now is 0512 on the 7th. So yeah, some new earthquake activity there. I notice Australia has definitely been showing some elevated movement out here following that that 5-pointer. A couple different magnitude, issues. Australia reporting a 5.0. I think the USGS had it as a 5 point. Yeah, what was it? A 5.2, I believe. Yeah, 5.2. So either way, definitely some activity stirring up here across Australia. And if you look at the last 7 days of activity here, this will give us. There's that earthquake at 2148. So that's the earthquake that I just seen here on the map. It's no longer here. It's disappeared. But at the start of this video, that's what we've seen, that 4.8. So still some activity ramping up here off the coast of Japan. Notice these quiet zones here over the last week. Vanuatu area, Loyalty Islands have not seen too much earthquake activity out here. And this is a right in the line of fire, so to speak, in terms of the momentum and pressure that takes place here across the plate boundary. So I would definitely watch this region here potentially for some moderate, if not larger magnitude quakes here soon. Following that deeper activity, definitely keep an eye on this region. Let's see, what else do we have here? The Big Island of Hawaii. It's been quiet out there. Not a whole lot of movement going on here for the Big Island or the volcanoes currently. Things are just taking its time, so to speak, as far as getting back into the eruptive stage. It could be calm here for months, if not years, depending on how much magma moves up towards the surface. The HVO still shows a Kilauea weekly update here from about a week ago. They'll put another one out here tomorrow, I believe, on Monday. We'll check back tomorrow morning for that update. Yellowstone National Park, not a whole lot of changes. All the volcanoes here across the Cascades clear. Alaska, still getting some activity up there around this specific volcano with some ash emissions. But it looks like it has declined here from this update, which was published August 4th, Friday. All right, space weather activity just coming down here from another M flare. Now let's see where this M flare was located. I am not for sure what's going on. Oh, there we go. Look at that. 33, what is that? 3380? Still can't get rid of that sunspot. That is the source there of the X flare and many numerous M flares over the past few days. And it's basically sending off one more M flare as a departing gift. And we're left with sunspots that are not they don't look like they want to party too much out here. They just want to float across the disk here and have numbers. Was that 3386? Yeah, that's 3386 way out there. Okay. I had the wrong sunspot number. Goodness. Either way, that still was an active region here over the last few days. And that's drifting, obviously, way off the western limb now. We can just barely see a glimpse of it. And again, these sunspots here that are currently facing the Earth do not pose any threat there for any major, maybe, I don't even think any moderate flaring. Watching this sunspot area right here, potentially, looks like there's a little bit of growth going on with that sunspot, but I wouldn't keep my hopes up. Proton event is in full swing currently. Noticing the polar regions here being affected by the proton event. That's having some effects on the ionosphere. Current flare threat looks like 99% chance of a C flare, M flare 55, X flare around 10% chance, but these have probably dropped down tomorrow after that sunspot is completely out of view. I'm talking about the far western side, the one that's producing this current M flare. There is the X flare from almost 2 days ago now. Something's really slow, and I'm not for sure what's going on. Really strange here. Normally this internet is super fast, so there's some type of slowdown going on with it. But there's the X flare, couple M flares since then. Far as any aurora forecast goes, it looks like potentially on the 8th, UTC time of August 8th, which would put that at tomorrow sometime. This 6 to 12 will be, looks like potentially in the overnight, early morning hours. So we'll see how this holds up. Not this morning coming up, not tomorrow morning, but it would be the following morning there on Tuesday. Slight chance for a G1 class storm, but we'll see how that holds out. Current aurora oval forecast. Not a whole lot going on. Slightly elevated conditions, but overall fairly minimal. Let's see. What else is there? I think that's about it. Not a whole lot going on here for the Storm Prediction Center. Looks like potentially here on Monday there's a wide area of severe weather threats with most of that. Look at that. They even upgraded that to 45% chance of wind damage. Those are from the thunderstorms that may be popping up there tomorrow. We'll have to cover this a little bit later tomorrow morning, but pretty good chance of tornado possibilities out there as well. 5% chance across a good portion of those states up there. So just a heads up. Again, we'll cover that tomorrow morning and see if anything's changed. Far as the numerical models go out here, there's something really slow right going on with that. With that window that was open. I don't like leaving a bunch of windows open because it hangs out there as far as a port being open. A little hurricane well off the coast of the Baja California region. That's just going to spin out into the Pacific and looks like die off a little bit. Far as any hurricanes entering into the Gulf or the Atlantic Ocean, right now the setup is not favorable for any type of major tropical development. And this goes all the way almost to the third week of August. And we are just, we're cooking out here right now. I still have 81 degrees here at 10:21 at night, local time here. It's going to be a hot night. But far as, let's check out the long-term models out here in the assembles. Right now, let's see here, Monday, this is tomorrow. High pressure influence out here along the west coast. Low pressure dipping down. This is going to be what's going to be providing that severe weather threat over here Tuesday. Notice that low pressure system along with a strong jet stream I'm sure working up some of that moisture as well from the south. That's going to be producing some severe weather potential out there. But also cooler temperatures behind it. Here in California, we're underneath the influx of the high pressure once again. This could be... Look at that. That's some decent temperatures here and some precipitation possibilities, but along with some severe weather from this type of setup. Got a little trough trying to develop there off the coast of California. Looks like neutral weather conditions, average for the most part, on the Thursday time period here of August 10th. I don't think that's going to last, though. Look at that high pressure building up here in the Pacific Northwest. That'll keep us nice and toasty. And I guess we'll see how the rest of August is. But it was hot today. We hit 109. Like I said, it's still 81 degrees outside. Mosquitoes are loving it. And tomorrow's supposed to be roughly about the same. Before that cool down takes place, it looks like maybe on Tuesday or Wednesday into Thursday. All right, anything major going on as far as the graphs go? Doesn't look like it. Things look fairly stable. I am starting up a new store, by the way. I did post it up here in chat, so go check it out. Checking out the quality of these companies, that make my merchandise and shirts and sweaters and t-shirts and all that stuff, and I want to make sure that it's the best possible. I don't want it to fade after 2 or 3 washes. I don't think a shirt should fade like that or flake off. So I'm gonna try out this new company here through Streamlabs and see how their shirts are. I'm gonna order a couple shirts and test them out, see how they hold up in the heat and the wash and whatnot, and then we'll go from there. If they're good quality and they hold up, then I'll get rid of the spring store and then just stick with these guys. But all right, let's see what else we got here. I think that's about it. Can't think of anything else that's going on. So have a good night, folks. We will catch you guys back here tomorrow, Monday. Stay safe out there. Have a good night. We'll catch you guys back here soon.